over the future of the conservative movement. Tonight in Arizona, members of the MAGA faithful have gathered to kick off Turning Point USA's America Fest. It is the largest meeting for the organization since its founder, Charlie Kirk, was shot to death on a college campus earlier this year. But instead of being a kumbaya moment for the right, the speakers immediately started taking shots at each other over everything from spreading conspiracy theories to racism and the movement's stance on Israel. Here's a taste.
When Steve Bannon, for example, accuses his foreign policy opponents of loyalty to a foreign country, he's not actually making an argument based in evidence, which is indeed par for the course from a man who was once a PR flack for Jeffrey Epstein.
Let's face it, Ben Shapiro is the farthest thing from MAGA.
The same holds true of Megyn Kelly, a person I consider a friend.
Well, I found it kind of funny that Ben thinks he has the power to decide who gets excommunicated from the conservative movement.
It is a fork in the road for the future of the conservative movement right now. If you believe in normalizing hatred towards any ethnic group, toward whites, towards blacks, towards Hispanics, towards Jews, towards Indians, you have no place in the future of the conservative movement.
All right, Dean and Basil are still with us. So it seems like this is a story that's getting more and more traction. In fact, on the cover of Harper's Magazine for the January edition, we have a graphic of what the cover is. It's basically the way they're characterizing it is how Gaza broke MAGA, and now there's a rift in it. We also have the numbers of the polling of the support. A Pew survey published in April revealed a portion of young Democrats with an unfavorable view of Israel increased from 62% to 71% in 2025. More alarmingly, for the Trump administration, among Republicans under the age of 50, a demographic that includes Kirk's followers, disaffection with Israel jumped from 35% to 50%. It's not just about that, but it seems to be a very animating part of this civil war that is now taking place inside MAGA.
It seems that it is, and it's hard to see why. Maybe the death of Charlie Kirk's left a void, and people are trying to find who can they get on their side. Maybe you can tell us what. The one thing I just say about Vivek, what he was talking about, he didn't mention Muslims there. And so let's not pretend that they're saying bigotry is wrong. They're saying bigotry is wrong.
Well, Tucker Carlson mentioned it.
No, Tucker's different, but you played the clip of, he's standing up there. I'm not scolding you for this.
I'm not defending them.
Very carefully. It is still performative. He knows it's okay to be anti-Muslim, and it still plays right for the Republican base. So they're not really anti-hate. They're hating the people that they say, we're going to hate these people, and that's fine. Transgender people, they can hate all day. They love that. So it's still a hate rally to me, what's going on there. They can have their inner fight. I love their fighting. I enjoy it. I don't know if it's wrong to enjoy it. I don't want to be right, because I want to see them keep fighting. That's all I want.
I mean, I don't think it's that hard to figure out why there's a schism on the right about Israel, and I don't think it's about concern over starving Palestinian children. I think it's that you have Nick Fuentes, who openly admires Hitler, and the Jews who will not replace us people from Charlottesville, and you have Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has rebranded herself somehow, but was out there peddling conspiracy theories about Jews controlling the weather. I mean, I think this is about how close to the Nazis they want to be, and I think that we should call it what it is. I don't think it's about any regard for human rights or morality or any loftier policy divisions. I think it's really just about Nick Fuentes is a neo-Nazi, and the question is, does he belong in the party?
I do think that part of the debate, I'm not going to give it humanitarian concerns. I think it does go. There is the portion of the party, though, that is the anti-expansionist foreign policy, and they don't like giving funding to Israel, just like they don't like giving funding to Ukraine.
That's not why Steve Bannon referred to Ben Shapiro as a cancer.
I'm not saying. I think we can also look at the reason that the support dropped so much. All the conspiracy theories in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's killing. I mean, that 15-point jump in disapproval is directly, I think, attributable to all the conspiracy theories alleging completely baselessly that Israel played some role in the killing of Charlie Kirk. So you can also see where the conspiracies have really infected a substantial portion of this hyper-activist class.
And on some level, aren't we seeing the distinction between anti-Jewish hate versus criticism of the Israeli policy? And the conflating of Israeli policy has given, I think, room for some of the bigots on the right. Because on the left, if we were pro-Palestinian, we were viewed as pro-Hamas by people like Lisa Stefanik, who's leaving Congress.
There are bigots on the left, too.
No, there's bigots all over, but it's a question of clamping down on them. To us, to me, let's be blunt, anti-Jewish hate should be, that's what it should be called. So it's very clear what it is. It's, you're hating Jews, you're saying the Holocaust didn't happen, you're dehumanizing Jews around the world, and that leads to hate crimes. Criticism of Israeli policy should be separate, a separate discussion all the time. And like, you know, and if
I'm just saying I don't think that's what this division with the Turning Point USA is about.
The amount of anti-Semitism there, and I've been tracking Nick Fuentes for a long time and warning, and sometimes I worry that not enough people who even watch our show like understand who he is, how popular he has become. And to your point earlier, Dean, you know, one of the things he said on his show the other week was that he kind of was laughing at the fight going on the right, because he was saying, you guys are kind of like losing your own standing here because you want it to be okay for us to be racist against Muslims while telling us not to be anti-Semitic and not to be racist against Vivek Ramaswamy. And he was basically saying, but if it's cool for me to be racist against Muslims, then I am allowed to be all those things. He was letting all of that fester and very much saying all of these things are interconnected, and you have to either basically be on the side of supporting all of those communities and backing all of those communities, or you're allowing a window for these kinds of opportunists to take over the dialogue, which I think is a large part of what you're seeing there. I do think there are people, because I have interviewed young conservative or sort of like moderate men who maybe have voted for Trump but then say voted for Zoran Mamdani here in New York, who I do think have they're in their 20s and they've like grown up with TikTok in their hand, and they are seeing images of the war and are disgusted by it. They're disgusted by it and terrified. And I think there is an element of that. And so I want to say that while there's a massive racist, conspiracy theorist-based and anti-Semitic movement happening there, there are this, particularly among the young voters who in that poll, there's sort of a separate section for them. There is that outrage at what you're describing, Dean.
But I also want to just say, did anybody at this gathering call out Trump for calling Somali Americans garbage?
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. But until we get to a place where they can then criticize their own president about stuff that should be universal among all of us, then to me that gathering of folks is really just about who's going to take the most extreme parts of that side of the aisle and elevate them, and who's going to be. And
that's sort of what gives some of the game away of what Catherine is describing, which is that if you are, okay with being Islamophobic and horrible and saying the group of people are eating cats and dogs, but then you're telling other people that they must be, that they need to restrain their speech or, care about diversity in another community or aspect, it's a message that is not going over well with that racist audience.
And I think that's actually one of the really important points, because you had folks earlier talking about Head Start. And recognize that all the folks at that rally are trying to figure out ways to continue to ossify parts of our bureaucracy so that all of the language and conversation about the people in this country and its diversity get erased. It's the
language and the services. I mean, we didn't get into this in the Head Start discussion, but that lawsuit is partly about trying to keep immigrant kids out of pre-K, out of these federal pre-K programs.
The New York Young Republicans just had an event last week in New York, and I wrote about it. They had Jared Taylor there, a well-known white nationalist. They had people they invited who put up videos saying Jews were cockroaches. That's who they invited. They had AFD people from Germany come here to speak. You don't have enough conservatives in America? You have to bring AFD, which is, it's not Nazis, but it's adjacent.
It's adjacent to
the
racist group chat that included
let's not, to me, finding any layers of goodness in what is a white nationalist movement, and that's still a hate movement. That's MAGA to me. Not the entire Republican Party, but MAGA to me. And maybe there's some good exceptions.
When he comes your message, Abrash Ekfani Wonders of Elizabeth Asher and A Drained. When he comes your message, Abrash Ekfani Wonders of Elizabeth Asher and A Drained. When he comes your message, Abrash Ekfani Wonders of Elizabeth Asher and A Drained. When he comes your message, Abrash Ekfani Wonders of Elizabeth Asher and A Drained. When he comes your message, Abrash Ekfani Wonders of Elizabeth Asher and A Drained. When he comes your message, Abrash Ekfani Wonders of Elizabeth Asher and A Drained. When he comes your message, Abrash Ekfani Wonders of Elizabeth Asher and A Drained. When he comes your message, Abrash Ekfani Wonders of Elizabeth Asher and A Drained. When he comes your message, Abrash Ekfani Wonders of Elizabeth Asher and A Drained.